Okay. Nobody has done any sweeps here today.
Yeah.
I don't know if any of you know my situation. Yes, I do live in my car, and I was and am a tenant at Westmoreland Park. In January, I was assaulted brutally by rapid response. My friend had his home swept, if that's what you want to call it. I think it was just like, I don't even know, I don't even have the words to say what it's like. I feel my heart goes out to everybody who has this problem. I mean, we're all together. We all gotta band together and be there for each other. Anyway, my friend's home was being swept, and I told him that what was going on, and he pulled up to where it was happening. The boss at that time, when my friend got out and said, "Hey, you guys are fucking up my shit," and the guy says, "I'm getting my gun." He went and got a weapon, a firearm. They're not police. They don't have the right to do that to us. Anyway, the boss decided to choke out my friend. Got him in a chokehold till he passed out. And then slammed him to the ground and pulled what I call a George Floyd on him. He was down on him with his knee on his neck, and I ran over to tell him, get the hell off my friend. And someone grabbed my arms and pulled him back, and I said, "Hey, I have titanium rods holding my spine together. Back off, I'm disabled." I was doing nothing but standing there and saying, "Get off my friend, you're hurting him." I'm sorry, I get really emotional. I usually start crying when I even talk about any of this. They grabbed my arms from behind and held me. And this one guy grabbed his little rake and ran over and slammed me in the ribs and cracked my ribs. I managed to get loose and turn around, and I punched that bitch right in the head. The one that, yeah, she had it coming. Oh, and more. But, anyway, at that point, she decided she was going to tackle me to the ground. And I'm still screaming, "I'm disabled, get off me, you're hurting me." They don't care. They don't care. They don't care who they hurt. We're all just nothing to them. We all need to do this and stand together. United solidarity, I did manage to get them off me after the police, were on their way. Sirens going and everything, and I'm going, "Oh, thank God, I'm going to get some help." Well, I got away, got my phone. Oh, by the way, they grenaded it on the ground. It broke into, 7 or 8 pieces. And I picked up the pieces and put it back together. Well, I had a little bit of an audio video going on. And they knew it because I captured the guy saying, "I'm going for my gun." And yeah, so, and then he comes around and he sees that I'm videotaping him, and he covers up his gun. I mean, come on. Ugh, that's just... Anyway, I got back to my car, and here come the cops marching up to me. I said, "Oh, here comes the shit show's happening now. They're going to arrest me." Because I punched a bitch in the head, the one that was holding me and letting me be assaulted. Anyway, they came to my car to tell me to get out. They were, get out, ma'am, will you please get out of your car? I said, why? Well, I said, well, you gonna arrest me? He says, yes. Didn't even talk to me. None of them did. They didn't care. The cops are right along with it. They don't give us a chance. Fortunately, I did get away. I got out of that one. They didn't take me to jail because I explained what happened. And he says, well, that's not what all the workers say. And I said, you know what? That's mob mentality right there. They all had a chance to talk to each other. They don't care. None of them did. They were laughing at the fact that I got beat up. Laughing at me. I peed my pants. I'm a disabled woman. I got tackled to the ground. Yeah, it was funny. It was funny to them. It wasn't funny to me. I did, young lady. I peed my pants. And they laughed. But that's my story, except for the fact they came back and they swept my friend's place again. And this time it was called a police abatement. They showed up. Rapid response walks up to my car, and I said, who are you? Oh, you're with rapid response. And I just turned my back. You know, I mean, I didn't even want to talk to these people. He says, I'm letting you know that the police will be here any second, and they're going to make sure that nothing happens. I said, they were making sure that no one there attacked them. Rapid response. Like I'm a big threat, you know. Anyway, I just wanted you to know my story. These people, they've got to stop. We've got to do something and pull together and stop this.
Yeah.
What do y'all think? I mean, it's time. It's time, no matter what. We have to do this. People are getting hurt. I could have been killed. So could my friend almost. Yeah, I mean, he was in bad shape. And they arrested him, of course, for doing nothing but pulling up and saying, you're fucking up my shit. You know, so anyway, we got to stop this sweet pair.
Yes.
That's all there is to it. Thank you very much.
You got out of MC.
All right, thank you, Katie, so much. So I want to ask everyone for this next speaker that we're going to have, they actually have some intimidation with crowds and people, so instead of clapping, if y'all think we could show our support with our little jazz hands. What? Sorry? Hazel is a very outspoken individual, by the way. This is Hazel. It's Karen, yes? Okay, are you ready? Okay, everyone, this is Karen. Karen, I don't know if you saw, but there was a video that was circulating recently. There was Karen and her husband were in their car and they were being violently threatened by police officers outside of their car at a construction site, and the construction company was threatening them with violence, and it's just not okay for people to like. Also with the police officers with Katie, like who are you protecting when you're doing that? Like what are you serving? Like that's an individual. We shouldn't live in a society where we think it's okay for that to happen when someone's just trying to have a home. Everyone should have a home. Everyone should have food and home security. So thank you, Karen, for being here. What's your kitty's name? This is Wicca. This is Wicca and Karen.
Hi guys. So, yeah, the incident that happened to me with the construction company,
was not unusual. Just this time, it was the last straw for me. I finally did something about it. I stopped, and when he was videotaping me, I said, "You want to play the video game? Let's play the video game." So I started recording him. I actually got 1.5 minutes of threats on my video of him threatening me to have his company was basically gonna make my life hell and stuff like that. It's not unusual. Happens to us all the time. We're all homeless. We know what happens. But it's not right. I shouldn't have to fear stepping out of my vehicle to walk my dogs or take my cats out to have a little fun in the bushes. I should be able to live my life without the threat of the police coming down and telling me I have to move my trailer because somebody called and complained. What have I done to you? I haven't done anything. While you're in business, we don't even, I know, I saw it, I felt it. We don't even get out of our vehicle. If we do, it's to run to the store real quick and we're right back in the vehicle. So what have I done to disrupt your business? What have I done to disrupt your life? Sweeps are not the answer. There are so many of us out there that are employed. We work for a living. And every time you sweep us, we lose money. We have to replace everything you have taken. We have to go back and lose time at our jobs because we have to come and move either our vehicles or our tents. You have just disrupted 3 days of work for me, for my husband. I can't even go to work. I have to stay home and protect my home from somebody coming and taking it from me. And that's not right. I should be able to leave that house, sit for the 8 hours I have to go to work, and come home to the safety that anybody with a house does. Just because I'm not making enough to live in that high-rise apartment that you're so proud of, that just was built for you, so you could spend $2,000 in an apartment and have somebody like my husband come in and work in it to make it all fancy for you, you think it's all great. Then you turn around and you come down on those of us that are living on the street. The man who just built your house is one of those people living on the streets. And you have just taken 3 days out of his work schedule to make him move his home because you have an issue with us being homeless and below the poverty level. We don't make enough to pay $2,500 for a 2-bedroom apartment for 3 people. Just don't have it. Can't make it. Not with only one person working. And somebody has to stay home, because if we don't, PBOT's going to be at my door, or rapid response, or somebody is going to come knocking on my door and tell me I have to move my home. And if I'm not there, they'll just steal it. I'm sorry, it's not taking it. They're stealing my home. They have stole so much for us over the past 9 years. 9 years. My husband and I could have been on our property by now. We could have paid it off. We could have paid it off and sat out there on our property and built our home like we're planning on. For 3 years, we've been planning on property rather than trying to deal with the city that doesn't have any help for our category of people. Anybody above 35 and up to 50, the retirement age, gets no help from this city. We are not eligible for any of the funding unless we go through the programs that are made for the drug addicts, the alcoholics, the drug dealers, the abusers, the abusees. If you're not in any of those special categories that they have out there, you get no help from this city. My husband and I have made it for 9 years on our own, working and trying to build a life here. We have once been in an apartment. We lost the apartment because we couldn't afford it on our own, and the roommate we had wasn't living up to their end of the deal. So we lost our apartment.
put us back on the street. At that point, that's when we decided to buy our property because it's the only way out. Because the city has no help for people who are in our category. We need the support of the people, not tromping us down and beating us back into the ground. We need your help to show that this city and the corrupt, the corrupt government here, the mayor and all of them, they're just out for the richer. They want to make it convenient for them to walk into this city and spend their money without seeing the true underneath of what they have done. They have pushed us all to the point. I've even had cops tell me, when I've asked them where to go, you know what they told me? Leave Portland. We don't want you here.
Wow.
You get told all you need is a backpack when you're homeless. That's all you need is a backpack. I'm not supposed to have anything. I'm not supposed to have my companion animal. I'm not supposed to have my service animal. I don't bring him with me because he's a big dog and people are afraid of him. And all because the cops have made people afraid of my animal. Because they tell everybody that the homeless animals are aggressive. And how do they do this? Because every time they see a homeless animal, get your dog under control. Take care of your animal. And they'll put you back. They will even pull their gun on your dog. How do I know? They've done it. I've been through the torture and the terror the city puts people through. I've been through sweeps. I've been in a tent. I've lived down right on the river. I've lived at the Bearcats Esplanade. I have been in a motorhome. I have been in tents. I have been without a tent, and I have been in a trailer. I have been in my van, and I have been in a Jeep. I have been in multiple, and it doesn't matter where you are or what you are in. The sweeps are wrong. You disrupt our lives, and you take our money, and you steal our belongings. And I'll tell you this, I've actually watched cops pocket pieces of people's stuff. I've watched them put an MP3 player or a video in their vehicle and take it home and say, I videotaped it once, say right there on the videotape, oh, my kid will love this for Christmas. And I've watched it. I've had cops threaten me. At me. I'm 5'3.5". What am I going to do to you? I'm 105 pounds. How am I going to hurt you? Oh, my words hurt you? Because I confronted you with the truth. And that's the only reason I have been threatened. I've been put in handcuffs because I've spoken the truth. I'm not one of the ones to be pushed around anymore. I quit being pushed around by the cops. I got tired of it. I got tired of being pushed around by companies. It's not right. I finally stood up, I finally have a voice, and I'm finally using it. The sweeps are wrong. They do nothing but benefit the mayor and his rich friends. I'm sorry? Truth. Truth. So, I guess that's all for me, guys. I gotta go. I'm having issues. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, Karen. Appreciate you. Yeah, I just wanted to speak on the backpack thing real quick. Not many people know this, but there was a time in my life where living on the streets was safer than living at home, a better thing than living at home. And there was a time in my life where a heroin addiction got me back on the streets. And there are just like these such simple commodities that you don't even think about, like face lotion. Like I'm not gonna spend my fucking money on face lotion. Like if I get a little bit of money, I'm not gonna buy face lotion, a pillow, a mirror. Like there's just like these things. It's like, I don't know if you could understand what it feels like to just have so little, but be in fear of like losing so much with just that little bit, you know? And also I wanted to say that Rapid Response did 6 postings this week, and currently Delta Park is being swept. You know, so 6 postings just this week went up. And that's like so Delta Park is currently being swept today. I just want to like let y'all know that. And also, in order to do unilateralism, I'm going to hand off emceeing, because that's what we should be doing, right? And Lou, who is also a personal hero and works with Defense Fund PDX, is going to come introduce the next speaker for y'all.
Thank you, JP. Hi, y'all. I'm Lou. I spend a lot of time out here. And the person who's speaking next is my good friend Morgan. You might have heard him over at the rally in front of Rapid Response before. So give it up for Morgan. You can clap. Give it up for Morgan.
I love you, Morgan.
That's not.
Thank you for
Hello. Nice, Megan.
Hey, Morgan.
Hey guys. Boy, I thought of a million things to say. I figured maybe I'm someone to say something up here, 'cause I've been on and off the streets since I was 15 years old. That's a long time. Yeah, I'm having trouble. I'm a musician and a performer, and you think I'd be good at this, but I'm not. But anyways, you know, I hear a lot of things. I've seen a lot of things. Like over the years, just the oppression of people that have less. You know? I mean, I was married to a history major, and if you look at how economic discrimination has changed and formed our country, it outweighs almost anything. I'm not saying, but it's where it starts. You know, people that don't have are trying. You know, I mean, I try every day. You know, I come out here and I live in my vehicle, but I hang out right over there, or right at Sunnyside, which we don't have anymore. I mean, I've seen Rapid Response, like, put hands on a woman, and it was a good thing I was a half block away, because, you know, I was running, you know, and there was other people there, so hopefully, well, they did defuse it, so nobody really got hurt, but, I mean, I've watched my friends, like, they accumulate stuff. I first to admit that maybe sometimes they're accumulating stuff I don't see as value, but it's none of my business. You know, it's their stuff. You know, it's not in anybody's way. It's we're out here. Hey, I don't know. But you know, I mean, as JP pointed out, like, it's the small things, you know, like, I like to go to work, you know, I haven't been able to get a job since this COVID thing, but, and it's not all that, it's like, you get up in the morning and you might, you know, you don't have a change of clothes, or you don't have, you know, the way to brush your teeth because you don't have a gallon of water, or, you know, you just don't, you don't even feel like walking into a place and putting an application in, which pretty much you have to do online. So if you don't have technology, well, it's not easy. It's not an easy transition. I mean, I lived on the railroad tracks, and I got a job remodeling this one house, and then I got a job remodeling this other house, and then I got a job at a restaurant, which luckily the one job I could get a shower at, and I had a little battery powered alarm clock, so I don't think the restaurant that I worked at ever knew that I was homeless. I didn't want to tell them. I mean, how I got that way? I mean, you know, I mean, there's a lot of different reasons people are homeless, but I mean, mostly it comes from not having like a support system, you know, like their family doesn't have money, and you know, I mean, okay, I'm an addict. I drink way too much, but it's because I have social anxiety, and you know, if I could afford a doctor that would prescribe me something for that, I probably wouldn't drink so much. But the point is, there's a million different reasons why people are on the streets here, and just to look at it as an overview of like, you are this person because you're on the streets. I mean, I get that look all the time. It's like, oh no, there's a homeless person, you know? I mean, people, I get it, we're all trying to be safe out here, you know? People but they put on their mask quicker than hell, man, and run across the street, you know? I'm like, all right, I guess I'm kind of dirty, you know, but I don't know, you know? I mean, I like to be solution-oriented, you know, and I think that things like this are good for the community, you know. Get to know people, man. I mean, I'm not a jerk or a strange person because I'm homeless, you know, and likewise, I don't think that the people that live in the houses and stuff around here necessarily are. They don't understand. They don't understand, so they're scared. You know, and fear makes, you know, the whole communication thing break down. You know, it's like, well, okay, you know, I don't understand why the hell he's that way, or he might be something, and then immediately the brain goes to, you know, a million terrible things that someone could be. But if you, again, someone pointed out earlier, if you just like say hello to somebody and talk to them for half a second, you might get to know them, you know? I mean, I've been all over this country. I've been to 49 out of the 50 states. I've been homeless in a ton of them, you know, usually passing through, or I try to get a job somewhere, and you know, I've seen a lot of it, you know. I mean, you're lucky here. If you're homeless, you're lucky here if you have a house, because there is places to, you know, get a stage and, you know, say something, you know, like, heck, you know, I don't know, man. I've never been to a place like Portland, so as much as I hear people complain about it, I'm like, man, they've shut down all kinds of homeless. I've been kicked, beaten, anything, you know, in all kinds of different states, just for not having it. And I'm glad that there's, you know, this kind of you know, support system for people that are really not doing anything wrong. They're just living in their tents or their cars, or, you know, I mean, I get that it's still an outrage, you know. I mean, it's still an outrage. I mean, some young lady came up to me the other day and asked me if I needed anything. I knew what she meant. Did I need anything physical? I says, well, you know, I need a job. And it's not her place to do that for me or anything, or, I mean, I didn't, but, you know, I like to work. You know, I want to be a member of the society, you know, in so much way or another. And I mean, I think there's a lot of them out here that feel that same way. I mean, not every single person out here wants a job, and some of them aren't capable, or some of them are disabled. You know, some of them weren't necessarily disabled before this happened to them. You know, I mean, dealing with living on the streets daily would drive anybody crazy. You know, if you don't have a drug habit out here, I don't know who the hell you are. You know, I mean, some don't, But I mean, it's not a stretch, at any rate, to imagine that if, you don't have nothing to do, right? So, and you got all these people looking down on you, and you're like, what am I gonna do? Well, what I do is I go have a beer. A lot of people do other things. It's fine. I don't judge. It's just, the one becomes the other. The one begets the other. I don't want to be careful. So anyways, I don't know. I think more things like this should happen. And I even suggested that we do like a community parties, park, like in a park, have music, poetry, any kind of thing to span that space between homeless and non-homeless people. My friends were laughing at me because I told them this word called housey. Somebody that has a house. It's like a derogatory remark that's made by homeless people. They're like, oh, fucking housey. But, and that doesn't need to be there, dude. I mean, we're all the same people, We're all trying to do the same thing. I mean, I just want to have fun, play guitar, hang out with my friends. You know what I mean? I don't know. Sometimes I watch TV, if I had one. But, I think, I don't know. I'm going to try to come up with some more ideas, and I have a good support group and friends around here that have good ideas, and I work with them. I mean, they're amazing, all of them. They know who they are. But, let's just keep trying, and for all you chicken shits out there who've got something to say that are scared to get up on the stage, man, it's not going to kill you. So anyways, I'm going to leave it at that, man. Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you, Morgan. Up next, we have another one of my good friends, Clarence, who lives over on the west side and came all the way out here to Laurelhurst to speak to everybody today. So give him a round of applause.
Yeah, Clarence.
He was hard to get over here today.
Woo! Thanks, Clarence.
Hey, good afternoon, guys. I just want to let you guys know I'm glad to be here. Sorry, I'm kind of not there, but I'm here. But it's one thing for certain and two things for sure. We need to make sure that we stand together.
Woo!
And so today, what I want to mention to the guys and everyone here is that the word for us is concentration. I want you to write that down and put it in your phone, because half people don't never put them down anyway. But I want you to listen to what I'm saying. First of all, I want to give that speech that I gave of something that I wrote that since now we're in the public's eye, they need to hear. And it goes, living in a city with no color. There ain't no love on the city streets. Man, they got me screaming that I see demons because we're living in a city with no color. But ebony and ivory, together they stand, and divided they shall fall. There's no sharp without a flat. So how will a piano make music if we're not both there? So what happened to our rights? The constitutional way. In the Constitution, it gave us the right to live and to be free. Have we, the people, forgotten that purpose? Would all you people of Portland please answer one question for me? Who gave these city officials the right to determine who we are and where we live? Is that giving you and I, citizens, our rights? Well, I guess if we're wondering if we have those rights, we need to ask that city official, because he is the one who determines who we are and if we can ever change. Meaning, once you're homeless, you're always homeless. Once you're an addict, you're always an addict. So that means that the Bible, that's that basic instructions before leaving earth that we've all been raised by, it had to be counterfeit, because it said that we should be able to change, meaning out with the old and in with the new. In other words, letting God erase it and God replace it. So that means that you and I should be able to change from the bad to the good without being stereotyped, profiled, judged, and held accountable our entire lives. So my question is, does these city officials in Portland even know the Constitution? So can we, the people of this city of Portland, in order to form perfect union and establish more justice, can we stand together for what's right? That's the big thing. Can we stand together for what's right? So with that word concentration, it's telling you that we need to look a little bit closer at the picture that we're trying to present. We need to work a little harder on that picture that we're trying to present. You need to look at what you want out of this. A lot of times we are so busy doing different things, picking up our phone, but this is a fight. We got a battle on our hands. So only way we can do it is that we stand together. Even though they want to separate us, even though they want to kill us out, we're not going anywhere. Believe that. I'm not. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not. Who's going to stand with me? All right, so now, go back to the word concentration and put that in your books and your phones and everything, and just keep it on your mind to when you're looking at your camps around here, that you know exactly that you follow every single dot and period that they put for you to follow. They can't touch you. But last time at the rally, I told you something that was very important, and I hope that a lot of you took that to heart. Just not listening, but doing. And that was to make a list of all your valuables. Because I want you to know that they cannot take your stuff without you giving a receipt for it. And know that this is mine. And they also have to let you know where they're taking it. And if they're not doing that, you mention that to them, and I guarantee you they're going to start backing off because they know that's the legal way and the right way to do it. So all you people here today are here for, let's stop these sweeps. I was looking on the internet yesterday, and that's all I seen. Oh, we're going to go to this park, and we're going to go to that park, we're going to do this, and we're going to do that. But you know what? They're not going to win because you got me. And me by myself will take them down if I have to, because I'm not going to stop. But I think that we have to look at the word concentration and put it in a position in our life to where that we love ourselves so that we can love others. And we can do for ourselves before we can do for others. So if you love where you are and you care about where you are in your life, stand up and fight. Don't go away. Don't let them back you down. Even they can come put me in handcuffs if you want to. I'm going to get out and I'm going to be doing the same thing again. And that's the way we live. This word that they say, homeless, I just don't buy that. I don't buy it at all because we're not homeless. We're just houseless. And that's the thing about it is everybody, hey, I like camping out. I'd rather be outside than be inside. And I can afford one. Because I like being around where I can share the love and have the joy for living in my life. So if these people are going to try to take my joy, I'm not going to let that happen. Because I know, for one thing for certain and two things for sure, that the joy of the Lord is going to always be my strength. And I know this also, that the joy, the peace, the love, and the happiness that comes to me and my life, the world didn't give it to me, and I'm not going to let nothing and no one in the world ever take that away. Because when you do, what you do in your life is separate the yoke. You take unconditional away from love. And what that means is, man, a drama that we're going through right now. They call it COVID-19. I call it losing the joy for living. So in your life, you need to restore that joy so that you can find peace to stand up and be like a tree planted by the rivers of water that cannot be moved. And a lot of times we don't understand the things that I'm saying, but if you take it into text and really look in the mirror at what we're facing, it'll make you stronger. It'll give you the power. It'll give you the anointing to get over this hump that we're in. Now, all you guys, I want you to know that it's getting closer to the Rose Festival. That's why all this is going on. Because this city has decided, oh, we're going to make this and you can do this. And then, oh, no, now we got to change it because, oh, this is coming and this is coming. So They're trying to get back off this COVID-19 that they're put on themselves. So they're going to take it out on us. So in order for you to win, you need to concentrate. You need to look at the picture. You need to find what works and stand with it. Quit switching off of what you're doing, moving over here, moving over there. Stand in one place and be solid. Now they're out doing something somewhere else. They're doing whatever they do. We can't be there today because we're here. But guarantee you that we're going to be everywhere we need to be to keep this up, keep hope alive. Now they can say what they want to say, but I ride around and I look at these camps all over town. I go all out in Troutdale. I'm everywhere. I move. You know, that's why I'm not tired. That's why I'm tired right now. But I see things that are just out of pocket. So every camp needs to have something going on to make sure where you live is your resident. Where I live, if I see somebody come and they stop and talk and do something that I don't like in front of my house, guess what? I'm outside my house in 2 seconds and they better get it down the street, because I don't want nothing to be the reason for them to put their foot on me. So wherever you're living at, whatever camp you have, stand fast at that camp. Be the strong arm for that camp. Be the person that helps makes the decisions at that camp so that you can keep that camp. Now, if you don't have those ordinances that have, get them. If you don't have a broom, tell somebody, because we're going to get you one. We need to stand up and do what we have to do to let them leave us alone. They gave us the permission to do this. Now you're not going to take it away just because something's coming to town.
I would not have.
You're not going to change what you made into something that it ain't. But first of all, I want to thank Cohen 6 for being here. I wasn't expecting them to be here, but I'd like to thank them for being here because they're here to support what we have. So I know that they're going to be an outcast or whatever it might be, but I want to do, we thank you, because the public really needs to hear what we have to say.
Yes. Thank you.
They are not coming out here because they don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to see what they're doing. But when you have people that don't care about people, they need to be removed from where they are. Ted Wheeler. Oh, did I say that? Oh, I didn't mean to say that. Okay. But anyway, people need to be put in their place. And the only way we can do that is to stand together. And I'd like to thank you guys for taking the time out your day to day to come out and support me and my angels and every other organization that is out here. And when I say angels, I mean Lou, Katie, and Mo.
Yeah, for real.
It's amazing to see young girls like that have the passion for this, what they're doing. And me, I see it every day. I watch it every day. Them girls have become kids of mine because I love that they love unconditionally people in the streets. We need to be that way. We need to have that same passion in our hearts and our minds to deliver this message that we have. That's why I told you concentration is a big word. We have to concentrate. We have to really be focused. Do you know we started this thing years ago with a thing called Dignity Village? Have you heard of that? And you see what the city did? Oh boy, they gave us everything we needed because what? We did not stand down. We stood up. So if we're going to have the same results that we had then, now we got to do the same procedures. People always want to bring in a new way and a new all you got to do is walk the same thing in Portland because, hey, the city council really haven't changed. It's just people moving around in different jobs. But it's a family organization. It's just a family organization. That's why I don't believe in organizations, because everybody in the organizations are hypocrites. They don't live up to the principles and the policies that they're supposed to. So who are we to believe? In ourselves. Somebody asked me one day, he said, Clarence, do you believe in God? I said, sure, I believe in myself. He said, what? I said, yeah, you spell God. He said, G-O-D. I said, what does that stand for? Great outdoors. That's what we're living at, ain't we? So it's what we make it in our lives. So until we find out that we're supposed to make this happen in our life, we, the people, are supposed to have this in our life. We, the people, gonna keep our camps. So, these girls have did a remarkable work out here in the city of Portland, all over. Because I call them on the phone and tell them, Chadell, and they like jets. I'm like, well, you're here already? Because that's the passion that they have for what they do. So we as a group and as a whole need to have passion for what we're doing right now. We need to have love unconditionally. We need to have joy in our lives for what we're doing. And until we get that, we're gonna be facing a whole bunch of demons. So as I close today, I want you to know that we need to stand together. Because in the beginning, when you were going to school, it's a whole bunch of things they used to give us, the Constitution of the United States, where it said, but we're not following that no more. They hypocrites to that. In God we trust. They done took money out of our pockets and gave us credit cards, and we believing in that now. But on that credit card, it doesn't have in God we trust. And the main thing was, together we stand, and divided we shall fall. Have you noticed how everything has been separated, where they tell you, oh, you can't go see your cousin or your mom or your granddaughter because COVID-19, because they're separating us. They don't want us to win. That's why we're being separated. So we need to ignore some of these things that they call sicknesses and things and get together. That's why we have these. Put these up over your nose and mouth and come on out here and fight for where you live in. Stand up for where you want to live.
Yeah.
Don't let nothing separate you from where your heart and desires are. Because once you do that, you're going nowhere. So like I said, before I close, I want all of us to stand together and remember, concentrate on what you're doing. Look at Morgan said it a while ago, and I said that's exactly what I wanted to tell, is that look at the little bitty things. It's like I was here at this camp yesterday, and I was walking around looking at it, and it looked totally different than what it did when I was here Sunday. So them girls have been at work here making it right. And so what I did, I came by and looked and said, hey, you know what? We got one thing going on. You got to watch those sidewalks. You got to watch those sidewalks, because they'll take that and turn it into, oh, you can't get a wheelchair through it if they want, and that's a problem. So you have to look at the little bitty things that you don't see. That's called concentration, right? To see what you need to make changes of to keep these people off your back. And once again, I'd like to thank Coin 6 for being here. I'd like to thank my angels, even though they're going to hear it the rest of the day. But I just want to say to you people, stand together and let's fight these people, and let's never go away. We're going to stay in their way. All right? How about that? Thank you very much.
Satan. They were often repurposed houses, and very contrary, and in stark contrast to a lot of the other institutions that I stayed in. They actually felt, to some degree, welcoming. Like there was some sense of homeliness to them, not the cold, harsh sterility of these places that would dominate your time, expect you to be in and out, and have no real regard for the, I suppose you could call them the higher spheres of human experience. I'm not done. Sorry. again, I apologize for presenting as a ramble.
You're doing great.
So, there's nothing inherently wrong about a mansion-sized building. The issue is mismanagement of resources. Even a standard nuclear family should not have that. Such enormous architecture entirely to themselves. It is incredibly wasteful. And the vast majority of these people, this reality right outside their doors that they look upon with disdain. There's this threshold, this psychological threshold that they are utterly unwilling to step over in order to actually, on a deep emotional level, understand that. The vast majority of them have been insulated from it their entire lives. And those who have not, those who have that extraordinarily rare rags to riches tale that has kept generations of folks miserably intoxicated with the so-called American dream. Because of that manufactured scarcity, which produced that aforementioned guardedness and disconnection. There is the operative word, disconnection from their fellow human beings. When they finally ascend to that position of prominence and opulence, it is something that they strive toward the entire time with that profound sense of disconnection. And so it is a Herculean task then to ask of them to just see other human beings and circumstances aside from theirs, because they have carried that disconnection all along and they've got theirs, and they know what it is like to not have theirs. Carl Jung had some problematic views and terminology. One thing, however, one concept that he gifted to this world is, how many of you are familiar with Carl Jung's concept of the shadow? Not many. So the shadow is, you have tapestry that is black and white. It is inextricably interwoven. So the white portions of the tapestry exist in inextricable relationship with the black portions of the tapestry, in the same way that the stars exist inextricably in relationship with the void. The shadow is that side of ourselves which we repress. It's not something that is entirely negative, but there are certainly many qualities embedded in our shadow that we would describe as being negative and certainly very destructive. But that destructive capacity mostly comes from our refusal to acknowledge, accept, and integrate it. This does tie into everything that I have been discussing, so please just bear with me. There are also positive qualities contained in the shadow, things which through our conditioning we have been taught, largely unconsciously, to seal away, because we learned through that conditioning that it was dangerous to allow those qualities within ourselves to unabashedly manifest. On a microcosm, an unintegrated shadow can cause a lot of harm in our relationships, can lead us to be a wrecking ball in our own lives. And we will engage in a variety of escapist habits to avoid really looking at that part of us. And those escapist habits can be extraordinarily sophisticated. In fact, that escapism is not something that we are generally consciously aware of. It can even manifest as us being harmful, even physically harmful to those around us. Anything external that reminds us of that within ourselves that we have not been able to accept and integrate. On a macrocosm, on a societal scale, because I'm always seeking to do that, to find the relationship between the micro and the macro, on a macro scale. So what I was discussing with them, the people living here, part of the Laurelhurst Neighborhood Association, who have so much contempt for their unhoused neighbors, unwilling to step past that threshold, it is because it is a disruption to the carefully crafted image that they have of themselves, to the luxuries which, in most cases, they received without any effort on their part. But in any case, it is a disruption to that. It necessarily, and in many cases they're not consciously aware of this, but it necessarily forces them, it is a mirror, because this can only exist in relationship to the violence of deprivation that many of you here either have or currently are being subjected to. And they don't want to look at that. They do not want to confront that. And I get it. I have been doing a lot of work recently to see and acknowledge things in myself that I'm not proud of, that have caused harm in my relationships and my capacity to live in right relationship with the world. Yeah, it's hard and it's scary. I get it. But the alternative is to continue living unconsciously, toxically, causing damage to everything around you. And the more that you have, the greater your capacity to perpetuate and perpetrate that harm.
These same, like, anti-Okie, anti-Black, anti-Chinese laws are being used and still live on today and are used against our houseless communities. So, I know, the law, not super sexy. Legislature, totally corrupt. Bear with me. Homelessness, houselessness didn't exist here until colonization tapped its toes on these shores. How can we watch the criminalization, discrimination, and marginalization of an artificial and immoral act on these shores, right? It feels fucking weird and awful talking about houselessness when we know this is stolen, occupied land. So, I know, law cycle, not super sexy, written testimony, you can say whatever the fuck you want to our legislators. And since we only were given 15 minutes, 15 fucking minutes to tell them why we have the right, everybody has the right to sit, enjoy a meal with their friends in public spaces. Don't even get me started on private property. In public spaces. And also sit in one's car that is legally parked. Don't even get me started on legality. But can come out April 13th. It's only 15 minutes of your time, but we're gonna have a party over at Sisters. It's really fun downtown. You can come hang out, have some food, chill out with all of us, and tell our legislators that we need this bill. This was written by House's folks, written by community members that are actually affected by these laws, as opposed to House Bill 3115, which has been given multiple sessions, but was written by lawyers and the League of Cities of Oregon, which are, you know, corporate folks. And give them a piece of your mind. And we doubt that it's gonna pass this cycle, but we're gonna continue to organize horizontally across the state with regional and national support to try to pass this bill in the next legislative cycle. So, House Bill 2367, Right to Rest Act, from the Homeless Bill of Rights. Come out for that, y'all. It's not the most fun, but they're trying to use the law to discriminate against people, and this is one way we can delegitimize their fight against people of color, indigenous people, and houseless folks, and people in poverty in general. Anybody in general. So, House Bill 2367, look it up, join us. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lauren. Our last speaker is a wonderful mom and person. Her name is Laura and has a little bit of stage fright, but don't worry, we're going to make you feel really comfortable, so give her a round of applause.
Like state capital? Oh, it's going to be on Zoom. Oh. Yeah. All their legislative meetings are
all right,
held
it's
online
been
right now.
a year since I've even heard
Yeah,
my
but you can find info
voice on a
how to
microphone,
participate
but yeah,
in testimony
I'm not the
online.
best at it. I hope I have
or you can
something
reach
to
out to any of the
contribute
orgs
that's
that are here
worthwhile.
and
So,
over.
Okay, got
But
it.
it's the Oregon
yeah,
House Bill.
don't let anybody tell you that you're hard to love or make you feel like you're hard to love. There is plenty of room in this community for everybody, and it's a lie that there isn't. There's a lot of entitlements out there, people justifying your abuse and what they do to you. They got a lot of excuses for it to make you feel like you don't belong or you're the other. But you know, conflicts of interest follow the money. You got a lot of subcontracting and contracting going on with the city, the state, the federal government. It doesn't matter who's doing it. Nothing about me without me. If you were to ask me what I need, I could tell you. Does anybody listen? If it's service, shouldn't I be leading in that? And if you were to ask the next person, this person or that person who's houseless, or who knows what their circumstances are, what they mean, I can tell you it would also be very individual. These prescription models, fine with profit motive. I mean,
private contracting is supposed to lead to more efficiency. They got all these justifications for it. It's all about squeezing a penny at the bottom line. But if it ain't working, it ain't working. It's not working. What else can I say? I didn't grow up in Portland. I'm not from Portland per se. I did grow up in the Northwest. But I can't be where I'm from either because I feel safety is an issue. That landed me in Portland. And I am not a meth user. I'm not a heroin user. But I do think that people overemphasize and overfocus on use. As far as I'm concerned, you can be a heroin user or a meth user, and but what's healthy look like? What are your needs? Since when did money equate with whether you have human rights or not? I think human rights are intrinsic and independent, and whether you're black, brown, or another oppressed person, in the end, what goes around comes around, and it's all our rights are affected when the least of our rights are affected. So to overlook that and act like money is any kind of justification, or it's greed. It's all our money. It's all our community. You can't claim democracy and oppress democracy. Follow the money, pay attention to what's happening. I do have 3 kids. I live alongside the houseless, the tented, the backpacking, whatever community. There's a lot of different ways to do things. Just because it doesn't fit neatly into your box doesn't mean that people can't organize, form community, and do what works for them and tell you what they need, and they should be able to expect action from you. And if you claim democratic values or to represent the democracy, you should certainly be doing it, not in opposition to it. I'm tired of seeing grassroots, community-led efforts get shot down by powers that be, conflicts of interest over the money or whatever else, and that's my opinion. I don't need all these. I understand concerned citizenry and children, concern over children, but if ask me what I need. You don't need to call the cops on me and create a document trail because you find my circumstances unappealing or reprehensible, or you think because I have entered into pandemic, impoverished madness, that my children should be stripped from me. I feel for these black mothers and other mothers out here who don't have their children with them, and I think that, healing as family as a whole group, and boy, I wish that had been there for me. And I barely hung on to my kids all this time. What about those who haven't? There's just, everyone is your neighbor. And there really is no separation in the end. This idea that the homeless or the houseless or people who live outdoors are somehow spreading COVID more than the indoor house people, I guarantee if there's COVID running among probably an indoor person that gave it to you, chances of catching it outside are minuscule. Yeah. My problem with services since I entered into this round of homelessness on November 18th is the domestic violence shelters. I went from Olympia to Wyoming to Cape Cod, out towards Massachusetts to Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., and came off 84 West after the state, my state insisting that I come back, and my car died, leaving me vehicularly stranded in about late January, early February. I got stuck here because there was a laundromat and my car failed. And if you'd asked me then, if you ask me now what I needed, it would be mostly vehicular. I'm a supporter of funds to help people fix up their vehicles or other things. There are a variety of alternative means to deliver to people directly what they need and empower them, and for them to lead in that process to what they want. And you know, everyone's always looking for someone to blame or find fault with, or the reason why bad things happen or people fall in bad circumstances or whatever. I guarantee people in their houses are using meth and heroin and all kinds of other shit too. So what makes it better, within your four walls, than it does anywhere else is kind of hypocrisy. I can tell you, housed or unhoused, my problems were pretty much the same then as they are now. They're actually improved somewhat by being houseless. And if the house system and the system it is can guarantee my safety and some kind of humanity and integrity for me that I can't have right here, right now, there's not a lot of that, but still something. I might be interested, but you fuck it up enough. Trust me, you don't have my trust. And until you do better, and you start being honest with yourselves, as a community about conflicts of interest, all the money involved, the fact that you tell these people all the time, oh, is he using this or doing that or whatever, and this is why we're entitled to do this or that to you, and make fatten my wallet while I'm at it. No. So, I'm a big fan of Lindy Bancroft's work. I think he not only has a lot to teach about what goes on between us, but also with the system that abuses us. And that's all I got to say. I'm sure there's more I could be saying. I wish I could represent a little better some of my attention neighbors and such. But I haven't found anyone out here who doesn't deserve to be loved, doesn't deserve what they need, doesn't deserve community or a hello or to be included. And so thank you very much for letting me speak.
Woo! Thank you.
Thank you so much, Laura.
Thank you.
All right, well, we're going to wrap it up for today. Obviously, we're out here because we're defending Laurelhurst camp, but like JP mentioned, there's 5 other camps that have postings right now. An article recently came out that said the title of it was why we should stop using the S word, talking about sweeps, and it was the grossest thing I've ever read. In the article, the city said that sweeps are not what we do here in Portland, and that it's outright offensive to be using that word. These are sweeps. What is happening at Delta Park right now is a sweep. They've threatened to call the police if everybody is not gone by 4. There's an entire community at Delta Park right now that is being swept violently, that is being displaced right now. And that would be happening here if it wasn't for the fact that so many community members have shown up to stop it. What you saw at Echo Park was a sweep. What you saw at Laurelhurst in November was a sweep. What you see every week when rapid response comes and takes people out of their homes is a sweep.
Yeah!
And the city is trying to gaslight all of us by telling us that they are doing this with care and with humanity. They are not. People die from sweeps. Our friend Scott Rupp's wife died from a sweep over at Sunnyside, which, by the way, is being swept right now. That sweep, I think, ended yesterday. They are sweeping people, and they're taking things from them that they need, like their medication. Scott's wife was found in a tent because rapid response took her medication and she had a seizure and died. Sweeps kill people, and that is exactly what the city is doing. And they know exactly what they're doing. And they're trying to pretend that this is a humane way of doing it because they give a 48-hour notice, which, by the way, they're legally required to do. It is not a courtesy. It is not a courtesy. And there is no alternative for people to go. They just say, get out. It doesn't matter. They don't care what happens to you. Your belongings get packed up into a bag. sent in a warehouse, they get moldy, they get lost, you never see them again. How is anybody supposed to get on their feet when they are being violently evicted every other week? That's wild. And it's not possible. And I would love to see people like Ted Wheeler and Lucas Hillier try to get on their feet while being evicted from their homes every other week. There was a neighbor that came and said, like, well, you know, we support you, but something does need to be done. Like, we had to get a Ring security system because somebody was in our yard canning. You live in a McMansion with a full security system. You have a Ring doorbell. You have ADT, and with a locked house. Imagine how unsafe people feel when in front of their tents in their front yards every morning, there are people accosting them, harassing them, throwing things at them. Rapid response is there first thing in the morning at 8:30. How unsafe would you feel if that was happening to you? There's this narrative that like unhoused people are so dangerous. Housed neighbors are the dangerous ones in a lot of these situations, who are putting unhoused and the most vulnerable people in our community in so much danger and at so much risk. And that is why it is our responsibility to be here and stop it, because the city can't do their job. And that's why we are here. And thank you so much for everybody who has been here. Please, please, please come back every day next week. Next week is when they're going to try to call the police. It's when it is going to get spicy. We've kept rapid response away for 5 days. And that is because of y'all's physical presence, and we're going to keep needing that if rapid response is going to stay away for another 5 days. So thank you everybody so much. Keep coming back.
We take care of us!
We take care of us. We keep us safe.
Hey, listen, I want to say, everybody get this girl right here. And clap, please.
Thank you,
Hey, you know what? If anything makes dollars, this show do make sense. You know what I'm saying? But I want to say this to you guys before I go. I'm trying to eat too. My sugar's kind of low. I want you guys to remember, we need to be in this park every day. We need to be around this stuff every day. We need to do this downtown every day. We need to do this everywhere we go. Every day.
Take him to church.
Because the simple fact is, the more you keep it out there, the more people hears it. That's why I appreciate Coin 6 for being here, and I want to give them a round of applause for hearing me. Thank you. Because this is something that we needed to do, is network with the city of Portland. And with COVID-19, we can't meet today because we need to be where the city can hear our side of the story.
I'm going to shout now.
And the only way we can do that is to stand together and be together. So let not this be the only time that you come out is because, they scheduled something today. Come out all the time and check on one another. Be about one another. Love one another. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, y'all. There's food over there. There's drinks. Go get something to eat.
Now!